Hi guys, so now I have a little bit of time to look at the things you guys posted. I really think it's super cool when you post questions about the charts, the connection charts. And this is a great question. So it's a human design question, and it's about being a manifestor. And we know, many of you probably know that the manifestor is that when we have a motor connected to the throat, and a motor as the sacral center, the emotional center, the ego center, and then having them directly connected to the throat. That's usually what we know. But actually, what Brandy says here is that it's actually when you have a motor connected to the throat through the defined centers. So here we can see that we don't have the sacral, the emotional, or the ego center directly connected to the throat. But if we look, we have the ego center that connects to the spleen, that connects to the G center, and goes up to the throat. So that's why it says Initiator here. So this is the 64 Keys website, and they are calling the types a little bit different. So the manifestor is called Initiator. And what can we say about somebody who is a manifestor, an initiator, but doesn't make any different? And here, what Brandy is writing is, my only motor, the ego, fuels my spleen, which moves into my identity center, which in turn is voiced. And I would say, first of all, that when there isn't a direct connection from a motor, it's a kind of saying, when it's direct, it's just really intense. And that's why many times we have an intensity in manifesting, in manifestors, that makes them a bit repelling. And we feel that the aura is that, and they go their way. And that's why we say to them, inform what you're going to do, because it's going to feel very kind of a surprise to what they do otherwise. When we have this kind of manifestor where it goes through other centers, I would say that it's less easy to actually discern that it is a manifestor. And it's kind of that more parts, like you're writing here, Brandy, like more parts of you are in the process of initiation. I also think it's interesting because with this kind of passing through the centers, we can also really see your superpowers in that initiation. Of course, if you would have like the 2145, we would know that it's the money channel. We would know, the domination and the control in the shadow frequency maybe, and we would know that the authority and the, seeing the synergy. We would have a very clear way of seeing what is the theme of that manifesting channel. The way it goes now, it's kind of more a threading, and I feel like there's much more wisdom that comes through. And here is like, through that wisdom, you are here to initiate things in the world. So we want to look, there are actually 4 channels that you really want to see, where you are here to create and initiate. And also, I just want to mention the fact that you have this cross of direction. Now I don't have it pulled up, but if you go to Love My Incarnation Crosses, you're going to see that you are going to, automatically, because it's also your unconscious and it's your inner, it's your soul, that's just going to naturally see direction in the second line, and you're a role model for this. So you are here to be able to express it through working with others, and through actually getting out of patterns that have been repetitive patterns that have been there before, and have like in an inventive way. So I also think it's interesting here, like I was saying yesterday, it's really, everything is hologenetic. So the fact that you have the gift of invention in the 24 in your life's work, or in your personality sun, and then you are an initiator. You see how those themes, like wherever you look in the chart, you basically have that same story, or the same truth. So here we can see that you are the messenger, or the transmitter. Anything that you want, any message you have to humanity, it's here to be heard. That's the coming to meet, and the artfulness in the 26. We can see where they are in the chart too. Is in Neptune, and then the 44 is in, where do I have the 44? Yeah, the 44 is the Earth in the 6th line. So it's really, it's kind of a feminine theme somehow, I would say. It's the Earth, and it's Neptune on both sides. So it's like you have that the transmitter that I feel is a kind of a feminine voice. And then the intuition of the 57, and the behavior of the self in the 10th. So these are, I would say that these are kind of the way that your message comes through, you could say, somehow. It feels like the intuition and the behavior of the self is like, it's part of the integration circuitry. So that's important. I feel like your message is going to come from the splenic intuition, and from like the, now that we are kind of coming back into ourselves in the G center, in what's truth, direction, identity, and love, that's really what fuels our message in the world. And then I feel like what you have here in the kind of the direct channel, I've spoken to many self many projectors that have this connection where the G center comes up to the throat. And it's true that it's not a motor, the G center, but it's a very powerful way of expressing truth. And something that I also feel that is coming, the cross of the Sphinx and all these kinds of energies where there is direction that is expressed through the throat. And also what Ra and Richard are saying about the trivium being, life energy is circulated up to the true heart and love and expressed in truth. So these are very strong channels, and this is the way that you are not supposed to it's not the ego center expressing itself, like I said, directly through the 2145. No, it's actually taking this way and including the intuition, including the soul fractals, like finding the right people here and working with them in synergy and in teamwork. And then it's about expressing it from the G center up to the throat. And the leadership theme here becomes very different. Here it's a tribal leadership. It's like I said, authority and control and that kind of thing, controlling the tribe. And here we have the collective circuitry. So in the collective circuitry, and it's the kind of reluctant leader. You're chosen by the people to lead, and you might lead from behind the scenes. It's not, and also the fact that your 7th is in your purpose. So it's the inner purpose, the things that is there that fuels your life works and all that, and it's your anchor. And then the 31, we have it, where do we have it? In Jupiter. So it's your, let's see, it's your culture. So it's really how you work with others. In human design, in the Gene Keys, this is the your culture. And somehow, though, it's a first line, so it's still like you are a bit alone in your leadership in some sense, I would say, because it's a first line and a second line, an interesting combination of like the investigator and the natural leader. I would love to hear more about how you are living this. And also interesting to know, since you're a role model, if you are after Saturn return, so you've started to get into your 6th line. And actually I would say that the 31 7 cannot really, of course, if you're 2-6, be lived out, at least not until the second phase after 28. And then I also love this other channel here, the storyteller, like the listener and the storyteller, like remembering why we're here by being that kind of storyteller that kind of sits around the bonfire and takes all the experiences that have already been done and share about where we're going. But it's not, again, this kind of tribal leadership or even the controlling leader that like points fingers of what we're doing. And I feel like the last thing that I also want to kind of look at is that I was speaking about the cross of the Sphinx and that kind of direction. And although you have this incarnation cross that you can see here, you also have the 2nd gene key and the 13th gene key. So you also or the 7th, the 13th, and the 2nd. So the only one that you don't have, let's see, in the cross of the Sphinx is the 1st gene key. So there is a lot about this direction, a lot about the teamwork, and that's really like, I would say that's what you're here to do. So that's what you're here to express. That's what you're here to initiate in. So all these things that are connected to the throat are going to kind of tell you what your expression is going to be. That's how I would see it. And that's why, in a certain sense, I would say it's a more interesting manifestor than if you just would have a direct channel going up there. Then it would be like kind of everybody else. But now you have a complexity and a really interesting way up to the throat and up to your expression. And also you have the 56, which is another kind of storyteller. So I would love to hear about your storytelling and I would love to hear about how you're living the 31-7. And I feel like those are inquiries that can also make you understand more about what it is for you to be a manifestor in the world. So I hope that was helpful. Bye.